welcome to this Price a Job tutorial. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the Beam and Block Upper Floor module. To get started, go to the module toolbar and select the Upper Floors category. Here, you'll see options for Beam and Block Upper Floor or Upper Floor Timber Joists. We'll select Beam and Block Upper Floor and create the module. This opens our module with our sketch pane, our description pane, and our estimate pane, as well as a navigation pane on the left and a stages pane on the right. Let's expand our sketch pane so we can have a closer look. The Price a Job sketch pane now supports interactive 3D models that allow us to zoom in and rotate our image to see our project from a variety of angles. To get started, we'll set the dimensions of our new floor. We can choose to input our measurement manually or use the slider to adjust it. In this case, we'll set our length at 5 meters and a width of 4. And as we make the adjustments, the measurements are indicated here on the sketch pane. And we can rotate around to see the measurement on this side as well. Next, we have to specify the orientation of the blocks. So we have options of laying them either on their short side, so that they are aligned lengthwise down the channels, or on the long side, so that they're laid on the narrow width along the channels. Then we can specify whether the first row of bricks will be wall bearing or beam bearing. In this case, we have selected beam bearing, and we can see that indicated here. If we were to choose wall bearing, then this first beam is removed, and the first row of blocks will rest on the wall. For this example, we'll stick with beam bearing. Next, let's take a look at the stage for the actual block and beam floor. Price a Job has calculated the area for this floor to be 20 square meters. If we select the drop-down menu, we can choose from a variety of blocks. If there's a material that we prefer to use that's not represented in this menu, we can select Edit Pack. And here we can search the Price a Job library and use different materials if we wish, or add a new material by inputting the title, unit, price, category, and website link. In this case, we'll just use something from the Price a Job library. We'll select some medium density concrete blocks. Next, we'll take a look at the insulation layer. If your architectural specifications don't require an insulation layer, we can deselect this to remove it from the estimate. But in most cases, you'll want to include this. Again, Price a Job has calculated the area to be 20 square meters, and again, from the drop-down list, we can select the type of material we prefer to use. Here we have a variety of Celotex rigid panels, and again, if there's a different material that we prefer to use, we can select Edit Pack, and select something from the library. Perhaps we might search for Kingspan. And this shows us a variety of insulation panels that we might prefer to use. Unfortunately, in this case, the pricing has not been indicated, so if we were to use one of these, we'd have to input some missing data. For this example, we'll just stick with the Celotex. The next stage is the screed layer, and again we can see our area indicated, and here we can input the thickness of our screed. If we wanted to have a slightly thicker layer, we could input that, say 75 millimeters. And our sketch updates to indicate the thicker layer. Here we can input our screed ratio, either 1:1, 1:2, 1:3, 1:4, or 1:6. We'll just stick with 1:3. And as we've been making our changes, our estimate pane has been updating automatically, calculating all the various materials and labor that we'll require to complete each stage. If materials will be provided and you're only being asked to provide an estimate for labor only, then you can use the filter icon here to deselect materials, and the estimate instantly updates to provide all the labor costs only for the various stages. Bear in mind that this filter only affects the currently selected module, and that if you have other modules that you will be estimating for this same job, you would have to deselect the material filter for each module separately. Or, as an alternative, there's also the global filters function here in the top left, and we can see here we have deselected materials for our Beam and Block Upper Floor module, and we can also choose to deselect the materials for any other modules that we have open. Or we can use the global icon here to indicate all. In this case, we do want to quote for the materials, so we'll make sure that this is selected for all. And then close the global filter. And we can see that that has instantly updated our module filters here as well. As we've been making our changes, the description field has been automatically updating with nicely written descriptions describing all of the work to be completed. If there's any notes we'd like to add to this, we can click Add Note, and then type our additional notes here. If we need to make any edits to the automatically written descriptions, we can override the auto descriptions by deselecting Auto here in the top, and then make any edits that we need. However, while Auto Descriptions is deselected, any changes we make to our stages will not be updated within the description. And if we reactivate Auto Descriptions, any edits that we made to our descriptions will be automatically removed. So if you have any edits to make to the automatic descriptions, make sure you save that for last. Here at the top of the Stages pane, we can rename our module. In this case, we'll call this Block Upper Floor. And that is also updated here automatically in our description. And when we navigate to the Reports tab, we can scroll down and find our new module has been added here with our Block Upper Floor title, the automatic descriptions, as well as our manual note, all tallied into the total cost. Here we can see subtotals for each of the various modules, and we can deselect that if we choose to by modifying the level of subtotal pricing. This first level of pricing only shows the grand total, or we can show subtotals for each module, or we can choose to show the complete breakdown of materials, labor, plant, and tool for each module. We'll just stick with the grand total for now. We can also choose to show either simple or advanced quote. With the advanced quote, this shows a complete breakdown of all the materials, labor, plant, and tool, and we can deselect any of these, for example, to hide the descriptions, or hide the materials, or hide the labor, or plant and tool. We can also choose to deselect the pricing to display a table of quantities, or we can also hide the units to simply show a list of materials. In most cases, a simple quote is usually all that's required. At the bottom, we have a series of notes and disclaimers that we can add, and we can add to this simply by typing in the field. If we prefer, we can click the plus icon here to open the Price a Job library, and here we can browse through a variety of pre-written templates, and if there's something we'd like to add, we can click the pencil icon here to make any changes to this entry, then close this and simply click on the entry to add it to our disclaimer notes. In this case, we've added a duplicate note, so we'll just delete this one here, and if we wish, we can save this here by clicking the pencil icon beside project notes and save this as a new template. That way, for future quotes, we can come back to a blank field and simply select from the drop-down the template that we saved, in this case my new notes, and our saved template will be automatically added. We also have the option to show icons for our various modules, so we can see that each module is represented by its own icon, and we can show or hide that. And also we have the ability to adjust the bullets from either auto to bullets, diamonds, circles, squares, arrows, or none. In this case, we'll just stick with automatic bullet points. Once we're done, we can print our quote. We can export it as a PDF. We can export it as a Word document, or we can email it directly to the client from within Price a Job. And that is how to use the Upper Beam and Block Floors module. Thank you for using Price a Job.